Well, I always enjoy this segment so much because we learn so much about some of our favorite cities on the Illinois side of the river, and we are joined by a very special guest today, the mayor of Belleville, Mayor Patty Gregory, along, of course, with Andy Waterman, Illinois South Tourism. Mayor Gregory, I knew you were going to have on a fantastic hat, but this one is different than any of the hats I've ever seen you in.
Oh, this is a special one.
Yeah, tell me more about it.
Okay, this is a 1930 vintage hat from Paris.
Oh.
And I just happened to wear it last week or 2 weeks ago to the Heritage Ball at Scott Air Force Base for the 75th anniversary of the Air Force. It was a wonderful evening, and General Minahan gave a powerful speech that night, very moving tribute. And so it was actually the first time I ever wore it. And so then when we talked about last time, you had a hat on, and then I didn't, so I thought for sure I got to wear a hat today. And so now my fabulous Parisian turban is now my fortune-telling turban.
It does look a little fortune teller-esque with your earrings and everything. So I want you to tell me the future of Belleville.
I will tell you, the future of Belleville is very, very strong. We are very, very excited about the future. Of course, I think last time I was here, we were talking about the refurbishing of Lindenwood, and it is now called the Southwestern Illinois Justice and Workforce Development Campus.
That's really fantastic.
What is that? What does that do?
That is kind of like a mouthful of words to say.
Yeah.
But anyway, what it's going to be is Governor Pritzker has named it as the official forensic lab training program for all the forensic scientists in the state of Illinois.
That's big.
Yeah, it's huge.
And then we have SWIC, which is partnering with us. And SWIC has 200 people, new police officers that they can have in their training program. But they are actually trying to make it into 400. They're already the largest police academy in the state of Illinois. So now we are very hopeful that we will get the other 200 added on. And while we're talking about added on, we have actually added 14 new hires to the City of Belleville Police Department. So we are up in full force again, and we plan on adding some more next year. And of course, we couldn't not talk about the cave.
Yes.
Have you been to the cave?
I have not.
I'm telling you, this is so amazing. District 201, and when I talked to the superintendent, Brian Mincer, I said, Brian, I feel bad because as a teacher for all those years, I was part of the problem of the workforce development. Because when we graduated from college, we all pushed college. So we were trained pretty much to push for college, even though when you would know in classrooms, there were kids or even friends that you knew were not wanting to go to college. They wanted to do something else. But yet we were still pushing college. Well, now we're in a situation where our workforce development is pretty much gone across the whole country. So District 201 took matters into their own hands, and in January they bought Kings Point, 100,000 square feet.
Which used to be a tennis facility.
Exactly. And they took that 100,000 square feet, and about 7 or 8 weeks ago, they opened it up into the cave, which is the Center for Academics and Vocational Education.
That's
And
great.
it's amazing. They are working with 60 corporations, and they always had a really good vocational department. Collinsville and Belleville were the leaders on vocational ed, but they have taken this so much further. It's just unbelievable. They're working with Worldwide Technology. They're working with Ameren. They're working with school districts, with pre-K, and then having teaching students about things for classrooms and all of this. So we also have a big construction. They've taken the whole 100,000 square feet, and within a few months they gutted it and made it into all these new classrooms. And then also on the bottom floor where they had all the tennis courts, they have put in a place where you can have whole marching band practice all year long. You also are, well, if you're a golfer, 3 golf simulators in it.
Cool.
And they can have practice tennis all year long. Then also in that whole area, they also have more like HVAC, plumbing, mechanics.
I think this is so important, and my dad was the vocational director at my high school, and I mean, he was constantly preaching about how important those classes were to these kids. So much more important than me trying to take Algebra 2 that I, have never used, but they really were learning auto body and all of these great things.
And we hear so much now from corporations, we don't need somebody with a BS. We need somebody that's going to come right out of college and into our workforce that have been trained on special equipment.
Yeah, ready to work.
And how many times have you tried to call a plumber when you need them and you can't find one?
Oh.
I mean, let's all face it, it's
Yeah.
not a
Well,
good
Heidi-
situation.
Heidi's been pushed out 2 weeks just to
Yeah,
have
for a
somebody
dishwasher.
look at her dishwasher.
Really?
Fixed. Yeah, so.
I'll see
Don't
if
look
I
at
can
my-
find somebody over on page.
Will you? Yeah, look at my dishwasher hands right now.
Yeah.
Somebody said it's so nice to drive past the old Belleville West and see young people walking around. Kudos to you.
I'll tell you, it's pretty amazing.
And Darren, our HW Kia guy, he's coming in the 4 o'clock hour. He's always talking about how he needs techs to work in the service department.
Yeah,
So
and they have
I'll send him over to Belleville.
I'll tell you, they have all these other things besides just hands-on with your hands. They also have working with Worldwide Technology on all these high-tech situations and
Yeah.
computers and things. And actually, they announced at the chamber opening that they are going to be doing some aerospace engineering next year there.
The sky is the limit there.
And in fact, I was there a couple weeks ago with Tammy Duckworth's representatives, and they were so amazed. And for us, it's a game changer for Belleville. It is between that and Lindenwood, because now we have a whole workforce development also that we will be working with SWIC and with the high school for workforce development. And of course, the Justice Center, now that we have SIU law students coming in, and we also have SIU Edwardsville coming in to put together the whole Forensic Institute and the whole curriculum for this Illinois State Police. And we have the Jets there, which is a really great mentoring team for younger children and young adults. It also has an education component. And of course, being a former teacher, I love all of that. So we are very, very excited. Silex in there training 1,800 sheriffs. And, the neighbors, I saw a few neighbors, I didn't even know who they were. They came up to me at a banquet a couple weeks ago. And they said, oh my God, we're so thrilled over what we're seeing there at Lindenwood. And, they said, we had some iffy things going on in the neighborhood. Everybody's moving out because, there's so much police around. And so they said it's just great, not only just for safety issues, for the whole county, for the other cities surrounding us. So it's been really wonderful. And in our infrastructure, we have been able to, between ARPA funds and grants, we've been able to get money for infrastructure. We have done quite a few and have them on our calendar constantly. We have a new engineer who does a beautiful job. We have a new economic developer that came with great credentials, and he has just been moving ever since he got here. Before he was even hired, he took Memorial Day weekend and just drove through Belleville thinking, okay, what else should this town be bringing? So we have several new businesses coming in, new brick and mortar, which is always good.
That's fantastic. Mayor Gregory, how big is Belleville? What's the population these days?
Actually, it's we've always had an average around 44,000 to 45. Within this last census, it was about 43,000. I'm sure a lot of that was because, it's hard to get a census count during a pandemic. So it's kind of anxious to see what's coming in the future because we've had over 2,000 new occupancy permits that we have put out. And
Well, I just feel like there's so much going on. The downtown area alone looks completely different than it did probably 15 years ago.
yes, in fact, that big change was after Art on the Square. You know, after the very first Art on the Square, Mr. Kern, Chairman Kern, was our mayor at the time, and he knew after the success of that show that we had to do a whole new footprint for downtown. And so we were really grateful that we were able to, and over the years, elaborate on what is down there. And I'm telling you, it is packed.
It is. I mean, driving through, and I've been over for a couple concerts at Lincoln Theater. I love that place and what a history that has.
Mhm.
Lots of history in Belleville. I had done a couple of stories on the Belleville Philharmonic
Mhm.
that I don't think a lot of people know. There's a lot of history there.
Actually, we have the second oldest continuous Philharmonic in the whole nation. And, which is pretty unbelievable. We always have them play at Art on the Square. Plus, they do it for free for us. Okay, let's not go there. But anyway, everybody will be asking for them. Sorry, Philharmonic. But they will be performing in the Nutcracker at the former Shrine. Help me out here, Andy. Scottish Rite.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then is now called Love Church. But they even bring in principals from dancers from New York, and they do it in conjunction with the Belleville Philharmonic and the Belleville School of
And
Dance.
it's a pretty rigorous like audition process.
Yes.
I mean, it's a really great group.
I
Yeah.
want to get to more events coming up in Belleville.
Oh,
but
yes.
I have to ask you, Mayor Gregory.
Yes.
Before you became mayor, you were a teacher. What did you teach?
I taught children with special needs with emotional behavior problems for 18 years. And then I taught second grade for 14 years after that. And then, well, I say I was retired, but the whole time I was doing Art on the Square.
I was going to say,
And
That's
then
not
continued
never
on.
retired.
But, so yes, this is a new adventure in my life, and I'm enjoying every minute of it.
Well, second graders probably lends itself to being in politics.
That is, well, I shouldn't say this, but
Right.
behavior,
Right.
especially in this day and age. But anyway, so yes, so sometimes I get a little bit too wild with my little programming because that second grade school teacher comes out. In fact, I'm going to be doing storytelling in downtown Belleville for the Halloween trick-or-treating.
When is that taking place? Because there's a lot of great events coming up. Was the chili cook-off just last weekend?
Oh, yes, and it was so fabulous.
Yeah.
In fact, okay, so I was teasing Kathy on the way over here. I said, chili cook-off, we had 3 great events in Belleville in the past 3 weeks. We had the Oktoberfest, we had the Pride Fest, and then we had the chili cook-off. So we had 46 vendors there, and they only had 12 left with any small amount of chili.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So since I
No.
figured we're going to be serving about 5,000 hot dogs downtown on October 28th for Halloween trick-or-treating, you can always like see how brave you are on Halloween and eat some 3-week-old chili on top of your chili dog.
Oh, yeah.
I'll take that challenge.
I know. You know what?
I
Now-
immediately looked at you.
Yeah.
because since you're a foodie and we're just talking about food before we got on, I believe you.
Yeah.
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 I'll save you some,
White chicken chili or the red kind?
I know
whichever
you're-
you like.
Okay. Andy?
I'm a regular guy, but I know that you're really into the white
I
chicken.
like that white
I
chicken.
know you do.
Now, we got to list a couple other things because you've got the Belleville Area Humane Society's Halloween Pet Parade coming up.
Oh, I love that pet parade.
Ugh.
I have to tell you, this was the funniest thing. The first year that I got my little dog, Frazier, first dog of Belleville, that's what I call him, little schnauzer,
Yeah.
darling.
KTRS.
But anyway, so I thought, well, I have to dress him up and take him
Hey,
down to the pet
we're about to
parade.
do traffic.
So
I'll
I
be back in,
actually
a
had
couple
him
minutes. I'll
dressed
put you on
as
hold.
Lamb Chop, which he was not really happy about. But when I got
And
down
you
there,
Miss Sherry?
I was Miss Sherry.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
I can see that actually.
He was second grade.
Yeah.
Right there. But I have to tell you, you know who was my favorite? The pig in the parade from southern Missouri. This was the cutest pig. And he had a little bitty, like, bandana around his neck, and he had the little hat on his head. And it was so adorable. I was a little aggravated because he beat Frazier, but you know, what can I say?
Yeah, well, and I'm sure people will go all out. That's October 23rd. Then there's the Belleville downtown trick-or-treating
Mhm.
on the 28th. There's the Art and Wine Walk November 5th. And I mean, that's just the beginning because you've got the Santa Parade. You've got the market. That's always
The
huge.
Chris Kendall Market.
Oh,
Yeah.
And in fact, this is our 9th annual Chris Kendall Market.
Oh my God.
And I have to tell you, this is going to be fun this year. Well, we have the Rainbow Ranch petting zoo. that will
Oh,
be
that's
there.
fantastic.
But I want all of you to come out, but don't bring anything pointy because we want you to get into the giant snow globe photo booth. It's a huge snow globe with like looking just like a snow
Yeah.
globe would
Yeah.
look. And you can get in there and kind of wave your hands and dance around.
And make a great Christmas card or a
Oh my
holiday
God, that's-
card.
Is the
That
Chris Kendall
is
Market,
going to be great.
is that weekends only, or is that running full-time after Thanksgiving through the holidays?
Wednesday through Sunday.
Okay.
And I'm telling you, and we have some of the vendors, in fact, I brought the list today. Some of the vendors that we have this year, well, of course, we have a lot of really great ones that have been there before, but we have things like Erie Elements, so all of things with Ireland. We have the Modern German Lace, Oma Giesi's German Bakery. Oh my gosh. If you want really great Christmas cookies, they are fabulous. And we have all kinds of food that they will be selling there, and also really unique gifts and ornaments, and just all kinds of great things like babushka's Polish food.
And
They
that
got to a German
opens
market, I'm not for sure.
the day
That
after
works.
Thanksgiving and will run through December 23rd. I could talk to you all day long, Mayor Gregory, but for more information, people can visit belleville.net and see the long list of things going on and what you guys like to call your great, big, small town. It's always fantastic to see you. Andy, sorry you didn't get a word in edgewise,
That's okay.
but you're here and you look good.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
All right, we got to toss it over to Luke McMahon. He's in the KTRS Traffic Center.